Have you ever wondered how many moments of your life have quietly slipped away, unnoticed, unvalued, unreclaimed? The seconds that evaporate while you scroll, the hours lost in distractions, the years surrendered to hesitation. One day you wake up, and the realization hits you like a blade of cold air. Time has been moving forward, but you haven't. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, that you still have time, yet tomorrow never truly comes. The Stoics called it the greatest illusion, believing that life is long. It isn't. It's vanishing while you're busy preparing to live. Brutal truth, Hashwan, you are dying every day. Every single dawn is not a fresh beginning. It's one less sunrise you'll ever see. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. The words weren't poetry, they were a warning. You and I are not waiting for death, we're walking toward it. Each morning the distance grows shorter, yet most of us live as if we'll live twice. We waste our hours in arguments, fears, gossip, and meaningless repetition. We drown in trivialities, convinced that purpose will somehow find us. But the Stoics knew the truth. Time is not something you spend, it's something you trade. You are trading your life for whatever you're doing right now. If that sounds terrifying, it should. Because awareness of mortality isn't meant to paralyze you, it's meant to ignite you. It's meant to ignite you. Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Imagine, for a moment, if you could see an invisible clock hovering above your head, the countdown of every remaining second, would you still waste them? Or would you still postpone the book you wanted to write? The business you wanted to start? The words you wanted to say? Would you still scroll through endless noise, seeking comfort in other people's lives while yours quietly disappears? This is where the Stoic path begins. Not with calm, but with confrontation. You must face the discomfort of truth before you can claim control of your mind. Every distraction, every delay, every excuse you make is a small act of surrender. The Stoics were warriors of discipline, not by nature, but by decision. They understood that clarity comes only after you accept how fragile you truly are. You are not promised another morning, not guaranteed another chance. Life is slipping silently, and the only question that matters is, what will you do with what's left? So pause. Feel that heartbeat inside your chest. It's not background noise, it's a countdown. That's time, pulsing, reminding you that the game is already in motion. The first Stoic truth demands that you stop pretending tomorrow exists. Every action must be measured against death. If it were your last day, would you waste it, or would you build something that outlives you? The Stoics didn't meditate on death to become morbid. They did it to become awake, to remember that urgency is not anxiety, it's clarity. That's where the transformation begins, not by wishing for more time, but by realizing you already have enough if you stop wasting it. When was the last time you waited for something to change? A sign, a person, a moment that would finally push you forward. We all do it. We wait for motivation to strike, for circumstances to align, for the right time to begin. But here's the truth the Stoics carved into the stone of human understanding. No one is coming to save you. Not the universe, not luck, not some miracle hidden in tomorrow. You are the only one who can pull yourself out of the life you've settled for. Before we go deeper, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Stay until the end of this video, because by the time you reach the final Stoic truth, something inside you will shift. You'll see your time, your habits, your entire life through a lens that most people never dare to look through. That's not motivation, that's awakening. And once you've seen clearly, you can't unsee it. Back to the truth, most people are prisoners of their own waiting. They live as if rescue is inevitable. But the Stoics knew the harsh reality. You are both the prisoner and the key. Seneca wrote that a life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. And that's exactly what waiting is. The art of forgetting that you already have control. Every second you spend hoping is a second you could have spent acting. Think about how much time you've wasted believing in the illusion of external rescue, waiting for someone to notice your effort, for validation to arrive, for the perfect condition to begin. You tell yourself stories. I'll start when I have more time. I'll change when I feel ready. But readiness never comes. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. You can't control the weather, luck, or fate, But you can control your next decision, your next word, your next thought. That's where real freedom begins. Stoicism. When you stop waiting, something miraculous happens. The excuses lose their power. You start to understand that no one is holding you back except your own hesitation. The world isn't ignoring you. It's simply responding to your inaction. Every day you choose not to act, you reinforce the chains that bind you. But the moment you move even slightly, life moves with you. And that's the paradox the Stoics embraced. Power is not given, it's claimed. You build your life not through grand moments of inspiration, but through quiet, relentless decisions to take ownership. When you wake up tomorrow, no one will drag you toward your goals. No one will force you to grow. But if you decide, truly decide, that you've waited long enough, then every minute that follows can become a weapon. So stop waiting. Stop hoping someone will hand you the life you dream of. No savior is coming, but that's the beauty of it. You don't need one. You already have everything you need to begin. Do you ever wonder why you sabotage yourself? Why you know what needs to be done, yet you still don't do it? Why you choose comfort over progress, distraction over discipline? The Stoics had a brutal answer for that. Because your feelings don't care about your future. Your emotions want what's easy, what's safe, what's immediately rewarding. But your future demands something entirely different. You see, most people live as slaves to how they feel in the moment. If they feel tired, they rest. If they feel tired, they rest. If they feel unmotivated, they quit. If they feel fear, they retreat. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. That mastery begins when you stop negotiating with your emotions. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait to feel like an emperor. He acted like one, even when the weight of the world crushed his spirit. Epictetus didn't wait for comfort. He created meaning inside suffering itself. They knew that feelings are weather, temporary, unpredictable, and irrelevant to the path of virtue. Ask yourself how many dreams have died because you didn't feel like... How many times have you said, "I'll do it later," knowing deep down that later never arrives? Every time you let emotion lead, you betray your own potential. The Stoics understood this betrayal well. They called it the war within, a battle not against the world, but against one's own impulses. And only those who win that battle can ever claim freedom. Here's the harsh truth. Your feelings are not evil. They're just untrained. They crave comfort because comfort feels safe. But growth is never safe. The Stoics believe that if you always do what feels good, you will never become good. Good. Ooh. So they practiced doing what was hard deliberately. Cold baths, silence, hunger, restraint. Not because they enjoyed pain, but because they knew discipline is forged in discomfort. When you train your mind to act despite emotion, you stop being controlled by it. You rise above the noise inside you. If you want to build your life, you must learn to move even when it hurts. To keep going even when the voice inside you screams to stop. Because that voice doesn't care about your future. It only wants relief. The difference between a wasted life and a meaningful one lies in that tiny, invisible moment when you choose to act despite resistance. That's where character is built. That's where power is born. The Stoics never promised that mastery would feel good. They promised it would feel right. And that's what most people never understand. They want motivation to lift them, when what they truly need is discipline to anchor them. Remember this, the strongest man is not the one who feels the least, but the one who acts despite what he feels. The one who commands his emotions rather than obeys them. So the next time your mind says, "Not today," answer back, then it will be today. Because the future doesn't wait for your moods to settle. It's being built right now by every decision you make while you don't feel like it. Make while you don't feel like it. When was the last time you felt truly motivated? That fleeting fire in your chest that makes you believe you can do anything. And how long did it last? A day? A week? Maybe a month if you were lucky, then it faded. That's the nature of motivation. It burns bright, then dies quietly. The Stoics knew this long before the world turned it into a slogan. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is eternal. We live in a time obsessed with a feeling inspired. People chase motivation the way addicts chase their next high, endlessly, restlessly, hoping the next video, quote, or voice will reignite their spark. But the Stoics understood something most people never will. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You just begin. You just begin. You act, not because you're inspired, but because your principles demand it. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be, Marcus Aurelius wrote. I be one, That's the Stoic code, simple, sharp, and merciless. They believe that waiting for motivation is a form of weakness, a subtle lie the mind tells to avoid discomfort. The man who relies on motivation will achieve occasionally. The man who relies on discipline will achieve inevitably. Discipline doesn't ask, do I want to? It asks, is it necessary? And when the answer is yes, there's no debate. There's only action. Think about this. The world's most powerful people are not the most inspired. They are the most consistent. They wake up when they said they would. They train when it's inconvenient. They work when no one's watching. That's the Stoic's battlefield, the quiet war fought in solitude where no applause exists. Every small victory against laziness, every hour of focus, every day you choose consistency over comfort. That's how life is built. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't feel exciting. But it gives you something far more valuable than motivation ever could. Freedom. Freedom from mood swings. Freedom from excuses. Freedom from the endless cycle of a starting over. Discipline doesn't rely on feeling good. It creates a foundation that carries you through the days when you feel nothing at all. The Stoics trained themselves to detach from emotion and attach to duty. They understood that growth comes from repetition, from showing up again and again until excellence becomes habit. Seneca once wrote, "The one who is brave is free." But bravery isn't found in battle. It's found in the mundane, in the choice to keep going when nobody cares. In doing the hard things simply because it's right. If motivation is a spark, discipline is the flame that endures through the storm. You don't need another quote. You don't need another burst of energy. You just need to decide that no matter how you feel, you will do what must be done. Because when motivation fades, and it always does, discipline is what remains. Why do we cling to comfort as if it's safety, when deep down we know it's the very thing suffocating our potential? Every time you choose the easy path, you build a softer version of yourself. Every time you avoid difficulty, you lose a piece of your edge. The Stoics warned of this danger centuries ago. Comfort is the silent killer of strength. It doesn't destroy you suddenly. It weakens you quietly, one small compromise at a time. We've been taught that the goal of life is ease, that happiness means avoiding pain, avoiding struggle, avoiding resistance. But the Stoics saw it differently. They believed that the purpose of life isn't comfort, it's growth, and growth only happens when you are tested. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. You cannot sharpen a blade by wrapping it in silk. You sharpen it by grinding it against stone." Think about how much of your time is spent chasing comforts, soft beds, easy choices, constant entertainment, endless distraction. We've built a world that protects us from every discomfort, yet it's made us weaker than ever. The Stoics, on the other hand, deliberately sought hardship. Not because they loved pain, but because they understood its purpose. They trained their minds to stay calm under pressure by walking straight into the storm instead of hiding from it. Every great life is built on resistance. Comfort is where dreams die, potential fades, and ambition dissolves into regret. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, the obstacle is the way. The challenge isn't there to stop you, it's there to build you. You were not born to live wrapped in ease. You were born to test yourself, to struggle, to fail, to rise, and to become unbreakable through the process. The man who lives for comfort lives in chains. His body may be free, but his mind is imprisoned by fear. Fear of change, fear of effort, fear of pain. And yet, the irony is that pain is temporary, but weakness is permanent. Every time you step into discomfort, waking early, saying no to distraction, pushing your limits, you reclaim a piece of your strength. You prove to yourself that you can suffer without breaking. That's real power, to remain steady while the world trembles around you. So, ask yourself right now, are you living to stay comfortable or are you living to grow? Because those two paths never meet. Comfort offers peace now, but pain later. Discomfort offers pain now, but greatness forever. And in the end, only one of them will make you feel truly alive. Remember this, your potential doesn't live in your comfort zone. It's waiting just beyond it. Step toward the discomfort. Embrace the friction. Let struggle be your teacher, not your enemy. Because comfort might give you a moment's rest, but discomfort will give you a lifetime of strength. What if I told you that the life you're living right now, every frustration, every limitation, every cycle you can't seem to break, exists not because of what you dream of, but because of what you allow? The Stoics had a merciless way of putting it. You become what you tolerate. Whatever behavior you accept, whatever weakness you excuse, whatever negativity you entertain, becomes the blueprint of your existence. You see, we often imagine that change begins with desire, that wanting a better life is enough to create one. But Stoicism teaches that change begins with boundaries. You cannot rise above what you continuously permit. If you tolerate mediocrity, you become mediocre. If you tolerate disrespect, you invite it. If you tolerate your own excuses, you make them stronger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What you permit to linger in your mind eventually paints the entire canvas of your life." Take a moment and look honestly at yourself. What have you been tolerating lately? Maybe it's the habit of wasting hours in distraction. Maybe it's people who drain your energy. Maybe it's the voice in your head that keeps whispering, "It's okay, you'll try again tomorrow." But that whisper is a liar. Every time you give in to it, you teach your mind that weakness is acceptable. The Stoics believed that integrity wasn't about perfection. It was about discipline in the smallest decisions, because small tolerances repeated daily become your identity. Your identity. The truth is, life doesn't hand you what you deserve. It hands you what you demand. Epictetus said, "You will become what you give your thoughts to." If you think like a victim, you'll live like one. If you think like a warrior, you'll act like one. The difference lies in what you refuse to accept from yourself. The Stoics didn't chase perfection. They simply refused decay. They knew that every tolerance is a seed, and whatever you plant, you'll one day have to live inside of. The tragedy is that most people don't realize how much they've adapted to mediocrity. They call it balance. They call it peace. But in reality, it's surrender. It's the quiet decision to live below your potential because rising would be uncomfortable. Stoicism is the art of saying a no. Not just to the world, but to the parts of yourself that hold you back. No to laziness. No to self-pity. No to fear disguised as patience. So, look around your life and ask, what am I tolerating that's keeping me small? And when you find it, cut it out like poison, because every tolerance is a contract you sign with your own decline. The moment you stop tolerating the things that weaken you, life begins to bend in your favor. Remember, standards don't limit you, they define you. Raise them, protect them, and never apologize for them. Because in the end, the quality of your life is equal to the standards you enforce. How many times have you told yourself, "I meant to do it," or "I'll get to it soon"? How many dreams have you buried beneath good intentions? The Stoics would call that self-deception. The most dangerous form of lying, because it comforts you while it kills you. No one remembers intentions, only results. The world doesn't care what you plan to do. It only sees what you actually did. This is the final and perhaps the most painful Stoic truth, that potential without execution is nothing. You can have the best ideas, the deepest desires, the purest motives, but if you never act, they rot inside you. Seneca wrote, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." You can spend years telling yourself you're getting ready, but life isn't waiting for your preparation. It's passing while you hesitate. The Stoics weren't philosophers who lived in books, they were warriors of action. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor who ruled through plague and war, yet every night he still asked himself, what did I do today to live with virtue? Not what he wanted to do, what he did. Epictetus was a slave who turned his suffering into wisdom, not because he intended to, but because he acted with purpose even in chains. They all understood a truth that modern society has forgotten. Your life is measured not by your wishes, but by your works. Intentions make you feel good in the moment. They whisper, "You'll do it tomorrow." But results are built by those who move before they're ready, who choose progress over perfection. The Stoics believed that waiting for the perfect time is the greatest illusion of all, because there is no perfect time, only now, and the now is where every legacy begins. Ask yourself, if you died today, what would the world remember? Your potential, or the things you actually did? The harsh truth is that most people will never remember what you wanted to be. They'll only remember what you became. The Stoic way is to live in such a way that your actions speak long after your voice is gone, that your life itself becomes your philosophy, visible, tangible, undeniable. So stop romanticizing your potential. Stop waiting for certainty. Every hesitation is a thief. Every excuse a burial ground for your future. Act. Do. Move. Even if you stumble, you're still miles ahead of those who are still thinking about it. The Stoics believe that life rewards motion. Not words, not wishes, not hopes. Motion. Your legacy will not be written in intentions. It will be carved by your results. Make them undeniable. Live in such a way that no one has to ask what you believed. They'll see it in the life you built. What if I told you that everything you own, your money, your possessions, your status, is borrowed, but there's one thing you can never borrow, never earn back, never replace? Time. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They treated every second as sacred because they knew that time isn't just life's currency, it is life itself. And the tragedy is that most people spend it as if it's infinite. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Think about that. Think about that. You're not running out of life because you've been cheated by fate. You're running out because you've been careless with what you've been given. Hours slip into days, days into years, and before you know it, your dreams are just ghosts wandering through your memory. Every wasted minute is a piece of your soul you'll never get back. Ask yourself, if someone stole your money, you'd fight to get it back. If someone stole your phone, you'd chase them down. But when time is stolen by distractions, by meaningless habits, by endless scrolling, you don't even notice. You let the thief sit beside you every day, quietly robbing you of the one thing that truly matters. The Stoics would call that madness, to value anything more than time. Marcus Aurelius woke each morning reminding himself, you could leave life right now, not as a morbid thought, but as a guide for urgency. If today were your last, would you live it the way you're living now? Would you still waste it arguing, procrastinating, hesitating? Or would you finally move, speak the truth, build something meaningful, live with purpose? Stoics believe that the awareness of death is not dark, it's liberating. Because only when you remember you're dying do you finally start living. Every person you meet, every moment you experience is part of a countdown. You don't control how many steps remain, but you do control how deeply you live each one. And that's the final Stoic truth, that your time is your life. What you give your hours to, you give your existence to. So guard it with everything you have. Stop spending it on things that drain you. Stop investing it in people who don't value it. Start building something that makes time itself proud of you. Because one day, and that day will come, the clock will stop. And the only question that will matter is, did you use your time or did time use you? Every moment you waste is a piece of eternity lost. Every moment you act with purpose is a step closer to immortality. Not in years, but in legacy. The Stoics didn't live long lives, but they lived full ones. They didn't chase length, they chased depth. And maybe that's the greatest secret they ever left behind. You don't need more time, you just need to stop wasting the time you already have. So, take this moment, right now, and choose. Choose awareness over distraction, action over hesitation, discipline over comfort. Because if you can master your time, you can master your life.